Hi and welcome to the 2024 gift list video sponsored this year by Skillshare. More about them later on. As always, this is coming out a little bit early in the year so that you can take advantage of any Black Friday specials as they may come along on any of the products mentioned. I like a mechanical pencil and I've used the Bicmatic brand for many years, but sometimes I just need a fatter lead to make a bigger mark if I'm marking up a cabinet, say. And 10-Minute Workshop Plus member Peter K very kindly sent me this Japanese Ohto Sharp 2mm pencil. This is actually a wooden pencil that's drilled out to take the mechanical innards, so chunkier in the hand, an absolute pleasure to use and great value too at just £8. It also uses the standard 120 by 2mm leads as well. Of course, if you're not marking up a cabinet, you'll need something to make notes in. And I've been using Rhodia dotbooks for many years, but I'm really liking this 210mm square version. That's the same width as A4, but square. It's a really nice format, especially for drawing, and has the usual Rhodia quality paper with the subtle dot pattern pages that are spiral bound so that it folds flat, and micro perforated too for easy removal. And just £10 will get you the orange covered version, also available in basic black. Next up is probably one for our American cousins. That's the Trend GB US 30. This is a Porter cable style 2 brass ring 30mm guide bush. I know from comments that it can be hard to get metric guide bushes across the pond unless you buy a full set, and Trend sell this 30mm brass bushing individually and available through Amazon. The 30mm guide bush is probably the most commonly used. All my jigs and templates use that size, so it's good to see this available as a single item. Forstner bits next, and I've had all kinds of cheap and cheerful sets over the years, but I started using these Bosch professional Forstner bits this year, and they really are a step up in quality, and with most sizes priced between £10 and £15 individually, they're really great value too. Also available as a full set in a wooden box if that's your preference. Absolutely recommended. Also around the £10 mark is this Purdey multitool. I've had one of these in just about every toolbox when I was running around in and out of people's houses because there was always something to pry, scrape or chip away at. But the main reason for this one is that the blade goes all the way through to the handle to this solid metal head, so you can actually tap it with a hammer or mallet if something needs a little bit more persuasion. Always a handy option to have. Now, as I get older, I'm starting to accept that my grip isn't quite what it used to be, and I found these Japanese vessel ball grip screwdriver sets to be particularly comfortable to use. It's a regular 1/4" hex, so you can fit whatever heads or blades you may have for it, including the Wearer socket sets and all those other useful little bits and pieces. About £12 or £13, so also great value for a Japanese tool. Next up is from Ryan Jones at the Lockdown Lodge. Ryan sells some handy little 3D printed workshop accessories. I've been particularly taken with these blast gates that Ryan produces. Now, they could have been made so that the two halves simply snap together, but what I like about this one is that they're actually bolted so you can tweak the fit to get as tight a seal as possible. This one's the 40mm size. They're also available in 50 and 63mm, with prices at around the £14 mark that Ryan has generously offered viewers a 10% discount using the offer code 10-Minute Workshop. So definitely check out Ryan's Etsy store. Links down in the description as always. So some say that you can never have too many clamps, especially rail clamps. And I came across these Trend universal rail clamps recently. Now these are an absolute dead ringer for my MakHack rail clamps. The only difference that I can see are that the Trend ones are just £15 a pair. Yeah, £15 for a pair of quality screw clamps. They fit every rail that I own, and I have a fair few. So if you need an extra pair of clamps, and who doesn't, then I think these should definitely be on your list. Combination squares next, and I've always loved the Barco 150mm combi squares. They're great quality and at just £8 an absolute bargain. The one thing that bugs me about them though is just the imperial measurements. I'll never use them, so I've picked up this Presch brand combi square. This is made in Germany. It is more than double the price of the Barco at £18, but I've got to say it's an absolute pleasure to use with really clear markings and all metric. There's also a 300mm version at about 20 odd pounds and a bundle with one of each at about 30 or so pounds. So really nice and well worth a look if you live in a metric world, as most of us do. We're going to step up a little in price now, but before we do, let me tell you about today's video sponsor, and that's Skillshare. This time of year, with the nights drawing in and cooling down, getting out of the workshop can take some commitment, but instead of staying on the sofa and watching TV, well, why not spend that time productively learning new skills or taking a refresher course on something you've been meaning to brush up on? Skillshare's impressive range of online courses covers just about anything and every kind of creative endeavor you can think of. Video editing, cooking, graphic design, and yes, my personal kryptonite, 3D modeling CAD software. In my struggle to find a CAD package that I'm comfortable with, it's been incredibly helpful to be able to take short courses on whichever piece of software I'm looking at. This one is Tinkercad, The Complete Guide for Beginners by Michael Freeman. And especially helpful too to know that each course hasn't cost me anything extra, and the Skillshare Learning Paths course playlists, if you like, that have been curated to work together makes finding those courses even easier. So whether you're a complete beginner like me just starting out or a more experienced user looking to hone your skills, then you'll certainly find something for you on Skillshare. But the best part is you don't have to take my word for it. The first 500 people to click on the link in the video description will get a month's free trial on Skillshare to watch whatever you want, take as many courses as you like, attend as many classes as you can fit in to see if it's for you. And if you want to continue after the trial, then there are great value premium subscriptions available. So whether you're looking to learn more about something you already have an interest in, or if you're looking to learn new skills altogether, Skillshare will have something to help you out. And I'd like to thank Skillshare for helping me out by sponsoring this video. Now, I'm not associated in any way with the companies or products here, with the exception of the next one, and that's Benchdogs Tools. I am a Benchdogs affiliate, and I will earn from qualifying sales if you use the links that are provided as a convenience in the description. Use the offer code 10-minute workshop at checkout for a 5% discount across the board at Benchdogs Co. UK. Or don't. The choice is entirely yours. Benchdogs, of course, are constantly coming out with some very tasty workshop accessories, from complete MFT workstations to the classic rail squares and all manner of measuring and marking tools. But I wanted to highlight the Benchdogs Basics range that's new for this year. Benchdogs Basics are a set of woodworking tools designed to be practical and durable, but affordable too. And starting off at just £25, they have all the usual Benchdogs quality that you'd come to expect, just put together in a package that costs a little bit less to manufacture. So those savings are passed along to us, the customers. So whether it's squares or rulers or a full-blown MFT, there may well be a Benchdogs Basics tool with your name on it. The MFT Basic costs more than £25, just saying. These are the Knipex Twin Grip 820-1200 SB, hereby and forever to be known as Domino grips. A big shout out to 10-Minute Workshop Plus member Anton, who found a post about these on a Danish Facebook group or Instagram post. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the description. These are a set of grips designed to get a hold of round things, rods or bolt heads. The grip faces are shaped for that, but they also happen to be the perfect fit for Festool dominoes. If you're a domino user or a Loose Tenon Jig user, you'll know how difficult it can be to get a dry-fitted domino out of the mortise, especially on the tight setting. Yes, you can use pincers or pliers, but I usually end up damaging the surface of the domino in the process. Well, the grooved jaws of these Knipex grips grab a hold of the domino tightly and make them really easy to remove without damage. Also handy for their original purpose too, of course, but as a domino removal tool, they are excellent and well worth the £25 asking price. So next we've got an accessory from James at MakHack, the 32mm drilling guide. I'll help James with a little bit of product testing on this because it was a similar concept to something that I'd worked on. Mine was probably more ambitious, which is why it hasn't amounted to anything. Not yet anyway. As the name suggests, it's a guide to help you drill a run of 32mm holes into a Festool or Makita pattern guide rail. Festool's LR32 system or Holy Rail is an excellent but costly way to produce a row of holes on 32mm centers. And this jig lets you do this on a rail that you already own, whether that's a spare 700mm rail you've moved on from or your standard 1400mm rail. You will make it an LR32 compatible rail. The MakHack jig comes in two parts, the drilling guide and the indexing tool that you use with your compatible plunge router, and both are available separately or together as a bundle. Prices start at just under 30 quid, and James has generously offered a 5% discount on any purchase over £29 with the offer code 10-Minute Workshop. James has also produced an explainer video, and I'll put a link in the description to that as always. Now for some shameless self-promotion, the 10-Minute Workshop Router MultiJig. The jig is available at my store at 10minute.shop or directly beneath this video on the product shelf, and start at just 35 quid for the plain jig, rising to just over 70 for a full bundle that includes a top quality router bits, bench-dog collars and a drilling guide. The jig covers 7 common tasks, from shelf bin holes to corner radii, handle cutouts, offset and inline dog hole extensions, concealed hinge and hinge marking positions, and 4 common sizes of bar handle positions too. Fair warning, there will be some Black Friday discounts available, and I'll announce those nearer the time, so give me a follow on Instagram if that's of interest, or sign up to the free newsletter at 10minuteworkshop.email. So next we have an air quality meter. If you've seen any of the festival videos recently about the new SIS air purifier, you've probably also seen the Dustlight air quality monitors. There's no doubt that those are excellent, as they should be at the price, but I think they're probably aimed more at chip foundry clean rooms than workshops. I've had one of these really simple little USB air quality meters for years and years, and it's worked just fine for relative measurements. What I mean by that is that it doesn't have to be certified accurate, just relative to a baseline reading, so I know whether to switch on my air scrubber or not. I have this running all the time, and what's really interesting is that some of the highest readings I've ever had were not from dust caused by saws or routers, but from fumes by applying finishes, paints and waxes. So it pays to be careful. As woodworkers, we do get a little bit fixated on dust, and there are equally harmful airborne particles that we do need to be aware of and take precautions against. These meters cost £50 to £60 now, with many other models available, and I'd recommend having something like this running at all times. Mirock tools next. Probably needs no introduction, but if you don't know, then Vladimir is based in the Ukraine and produces these beautiful brass and hardwood tools, squares, knives and rulers. As you'd expect with this kind of combination of art and engineering, none of these are cheap, but with the knives starting at around £70 odd, I'd put them in the accessible category for the folks who like nice things. Next, it's a quick plug for the 10-Minute Workshop Loose Tenon Jig, the LTJ30. This starts at £85, and there's a couple of bundles available, including one that has everything you need to get started in affordable loose tenon cabinetry. Again, there'll be some Black Friday discounts available, details to be announced in due course. So I've looked at a few portable NFT style benches this year, the XL folding workbench at about £75 and the Metabo MWB 100 at a couple hundred quid. These are both really affordable ways to get into an NFT style workbench. I've done detailed warts and all videos about both of them, including a video on how to improve both of them. And while I feel part of what I do in looking at these products is to point out where I think manufacturers have missed the mark or fallen short, I've got to be honest, just a few years ago, the idea of getting an NFT style portable workbench that was worth a damn at these kinds of prices would have been just unthinkable. And had they been available at the time, then I probably wouldn't have bothered to build my own from scratch. I'd have adapted these. Now, they're not without faults. You may want to have the Benchdogs reaming tool handy, or consider replacement tops from a friend of the channel, Derek, at Carved CNC. But having replaced the tops, I'm using both benches very happily as overflow benches and work tables, both here in the workshop and at home too. If you're looking for a more premium bench, then the Benchdogs Basic Ultra NFT is available, but that's a big step up in price from these two. As always, you pays your money and you makes your choice, and it's fantastic that we have these options now at such a wide range of price points. And finally, here's my Mitutoyo digital calipers. I've had those £10 supermarket digital calipers before, and they are fantastic for the money, especially if all you need are relative measurements. This is a millimetre bigger than that, for example. But sometimes you need a measurement that's properly precise. You need to know that that steel pin is 4.97 millimetres across, not 515, for example, and you have to be certain that that measurement is true. That's when I bought these Mitutoyo MIT 500s. They were a little bit of an indulgence, to be honest, at about £110, but I've used them a surprising amount, especially when I was getting into discussions, let's say, around the MFT tops and dog hole sizing, for example. As I say, all I needed for years were the basic supermarket ones, but if you do need precision and accuracy, then these are excellent. So there you go, that's the gift list for 2024. Hopefully something for everyone, but if not, then be sure to check out my previous annual gift guides to see if there's anything there that tickles your fancy. They're all in a playlist, links down below as always. Now, normally I start these things off with a pocket money stocking filler, but I didn't actually have anything this year, so I'll just mention here that a month's membership to the 10-Minute Workshop Plus forums can be had for just £3 or less if you commit to an annual plan. So if you'd like to join the conversations that help to shape these public-facing YouTube videos, we'd love to have you on board and taking part. There are more details at 10minuteworkshop.com or sign up directly at 10minuteworkshop.plus. But I'll call this one done for now. Thanks so much for taking a look. Leave a comment, hit subscribe, sign up to the free newsletter, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.